The following program has been furnished and paid for by Ask the Expert Show. KSEV is not responsible for its content or the products or services offered. Welcome to the Ask the Expert Show with local experts in the field of health, legal, financial, and home improvement. Now, here's your host, Gary Knight.
Welcome again. I'm the aforementioned Gary Knight. This is a weekend, and it's time for Ask the Experts. And today, it's Harlan Pickett.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you. Good to be back. Appreciate it, Gary.
Glad to have you here. This is what they call a tease, folks. He's got a special guest on the next Power Hour show. Is that correct?
That's right.
You're not going to tell? Can you
I am
extend?
not. Nope. Yeah. Got to listen in. Got to listen in, Gary.
513-687-6202 is your number?
That's it. Yes, sir.
And you say?
GoFessa.com.
There we go. Are you ready for the questions? And they keep pouring in?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for them or not. Let's give it a shot.
You seem to do all right with me. This says here, I was talking to my broker about a life insurance policy.
Okay.
She told me about a policy that would pay out even if I got cancer, but did not die. Wait a minute. Have you ever heard of such a thing?
That's kind of a funny question, isn't it? Wait, I got a life insurance policy that's going to pay you if I don't die?
Yeah.
What kind of craziness is that, right?
I've never heard of it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gary, that does exist. That is called a living benefit.
Wow.
And there are many life insurance policies out there. Most companies actually have some form of that, and they do exactly what it sounds like. Even if you survive, you don't pass away from whatever the severe ailment was, then they're going to pay you anyway. In this case, of course, a first diagnosis of cancer would pay out a percentage of that policy. Yeah. And depending on what you had happen, let's just say you had a brain tumor. I can use that as a pretty good example. If that was a cancerous brain tumor, they may pay out 90% of your policy. So if that means if you had a $100,000 policy, they'd pay out $90,000. And if it was a benign brain tumor, they may only pay out 25%. So they'd only give you $25,000.
Okay.
But it's not necessarily a sliding scale per se. What it is depending on the ailment and the severity of that ailment. They won't pay the same amount for a cancer that is not a life-threatening cancer. So if you had a skin cancer in situ, it would be a different payout than, say, an internal cancer that could be life-threatening, say liver cancer, pancreatic cancer, something like that.
So Harlan, is this a good thing or a bad thing?
Well,
what would you think?
I mean, think about that for a second.
Is that
If
the way
you
it is?
typically, if you have a life insurance policy, you're not going to be a beneficiary of it, right? You can't be a beneficiary of your own life insurance.
No, never have.
Right. In this case, you can because you're getting a benefit while you're still alive. It is right. It's a sad situation to think about, Gary. But many times the worst thing that can happen is that you lived. If you had something really bad happen to you and now you have become the responsibility or in some cases a burden to your family, if you had a traditional life insurance policy, it never paid anything because you're still alive. I mean, we all have heard stories where someone was on life support or, being kept alive for years, 30 years. And all that time, their family had to continue to take care of them. And maybe they had a great life insurance policy, but it's never going to pay out because they're still alive.
So they don't leave you on the side of the road to die, so to speak. I mean, it's good to be a little.
Well, yeah, exactly. But that's the whole thing is you think about it that you don't want to be a burden to your family, right?
Right.
And you don't want your death to be a burden to your family. That's why you got life insurance. But then it turned around, and now your life has become a burden to your family because whatever struck you down, say even a severe stroke, may have put you in a situation where you're in a vegetative state, and now you'll never have any quality of life. But your family still has to take care of you, or still wants to take care of you. Let's not say that, but they still want to take care of you. But the funds can be very difficult to come up with. A living benefit policy is a great answer for that eventuality or possibility. Not eventuality, but a possibility, because now you have a policy that can help not just if you pass away, but if you live also.
That was a tender question, but a great answer. Thank you so much, Harlan. Here's another question for you. It's like Stump Harlan today.
Okay.
My spouse and I, after 23 years of marriage, recently got a divorce.
Okay.
Now, is it true that I can claim Social Security benefits on her account?
It is true.
Okay.
Now, obviously, there's some age restrictions there, just like you couldn't start claiming your own Social Security until 62. You cannot claim on that person's Social Security until you're 62. And even if you do that because you're not the full age, then you're still going to get a decrease. Now, one of the things that I want to point out, and this is kind of a funny deal, but a lot of times people think, well, if I claim on my exes, then I'm going to reduce theirs. And they think they're going to do it out of spite. Well, it's not going to have any impact on that exes. You're going to get half of whatever it was that they were entitled to, and that's all you're going to get. It's not going to reduce theirs at all. So if there's a spiteful reason for it, there's just no benefit there. But it is true that they can claim on that. You had to be married for 10 years, by the way, Gary. If you've been married to somebody for 10 years, then you can claim on their Social Security when the time comes.
So hopefully it'll be up to 10 years when this thing happens for them. I mean, that's the way I look at it.
Well, there you go.
Okay,
right.
Speaking of looking, how about somebody's looking for a disability policy.
Okay.
And they go on to say, I don't understand why I can... I can't read. My eyes are going. I don't understand why all I can find is a policy that would only pay out a maximum of 60% of my income. Can you explain that?
Okay. So they're looking for disability. They've probably been shopping around some. And what they're finding is the maximum benefit is only going to be 60% of their income.
Okay.
That is very standard. Yeah, that's very standard that you see that, Gary. You typically choose what percentage. You may choose you only want 40%, 50%, 60%, and then you kind of choose the timetable that you want that. Now, the reason for that, and you're not getting that 100% replacement, is because disability insurance payouts like that are tax-free. Gary.
Oh, that's a good deal.
You don't have anything coming out. Imagine, in your job yourself, Gary, you have money coming out for all the different things, right?
Whatever.
You've got Medicare coming out, Social Security coming out. Just you look down the list, and by the time they take all their taxes and everything out, you have just a portion.
I who have nothing.
Well, when you're getting this disability income, there's nothing that comes out of it, and it's not taxable income.
Gotcha.
Therefore, that 60% in most cases is adequate or even more than adequate replacement of income because you don't have that coming out.
Ah, okay. Well, you make sense. GoFesta.com.
GoFesta.com. If you got questions like that you just can't gather, or maybe you just can't find the right policy or something that you trust, GoFesta.com or 512-687-6202.
These are pretty good questions today.
I like this, yeah.
Last week was just as great.
Yeah, people are really putting their thinking caps on now, aren't they?
Well, they know it's the end of the line. I'm sorry. I'm just being levity-tized here. I have been seeing ads for standalone telemedicine memberships.
Oh, yeah.
I really like the idea of that. Are there any that you recommend? Telemedicine, yeah.
Telemedicine, yeah, absolutely. I think the one most folks just recognize because it's been around the longest is Teladoc. That is certainly one that pretty much everybody goes by. In fact, a lot of telemedicine, it's almost like Coca-Cola. Here in Texas, we call everything a Coke, right?
That's right.
And that doesn't mean it has to be a Coca-Cola. A Coke can be an RC or a Dr. Pepper, whatever. It doesn't matter.
No.
And I think Teladoc has almost become that to a certain degree because a lot of people say Teladoc, and what they really mean is telemedicine. But the question here is, which one of those do I recommend? Well, the first thing that I recommend is you check and see if your health plan that you're on now includes that. It is very unusual not to find a health insurance plan or even a health share that's out there right now that doesn't already have telemedicine with it. It has been a big, big change in the industry in the last really 12 months since COVID hit. And so many people stopped going to primary care physicians and doctors and looking for alternative ways to do it, that a lot of folks are going towards telemedicine. And a lot of doctors' offices are too. I was talking to a couple in Oklahoma here a couple of weeks ago, and they told me that their primary care doctor is in Dallas. And they're in Oklahoma. And it's because they've never actually met with him personally. They've only met with him over the phone or video. What an interesting concept, right?
Now that, I know this virus was nasty, but it's bringing in the technology that we just have right now. And I think this is a new normal.
It really is. And I think it's here to stay.
Yeah.
Just like we're seeing, of course, people working from home now. You see a whole lot more of that.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I think telemedicine is one of those things that has been around a long time. People were a little hesitant, and now they're seeing the great benefits. One of the newest telemedicine side things that we're seeing is a lot of mental health for telemedicine,
Ah.
somebody to talk to. And that's a big, big deal. A lot of folks have been affected mentally through all of this COVID stuff. They've had a lot of lost jobs, a lot of depression,
Yes.
Just loneliness, all of these different things. A lot of school kids that have had issues. And I think the fact that you can go through telemedicine and have mental wellness through that is also a huge, huge benefit. I am certainly a huge proponent of telemedicine. I love the concept. And to be specific to answer that question, I think the old standby teledoc is an awesome option. You can typically find those anywhere from $10 to $20 a month.
Oh.
And that's very inexpensive. But before you go out and you buy that separate membership, make sure that your plan doesn't have it, because it's being added to more and more plans. And if you already get it, there's no reason to pay extra for something you already have, Gary.
Harlan, can you stay around? We have some more questions, some more time
I sure
left.
can. Yes, sir.
Harlan Pickett is with yours truly, Gary Knight, on Ask the Experts. We'll be right back.
The Federal Employee Service Association, FESA, helps federal and non-federal employees. In 2008, a group of individuals with over 100 years of combined experience in financial services created an organization with a service-first approach. They began by becoming federal benefits specialists and helping those employees understand their benefits at no cost. In 2017, they took their experience helping federal employees and made the same services available to the non-federal worker. With a service-first, at no-cost approach, they utilized the retirement income planning philosophy of people are living longer and must have a guaranteed income stream they cannot outlive. At FESA, one of their newest free services is Social Security Maximization. Highly trained individuals, supported by sophisticated software, are available to make Social Security claiming a peace-of-mind experience. An individual can receive hundreds of thousands of dollars and sometimes millions of dollars from their Social Security benefits. It is very important that decisions are made that maximize that income stream. Whether they're working with Social Security, pensions, or IRAs, FESA begins with a free personal benefits analysis to help you understand which benefits are available to you and what you may be paying for that you cannot use. Human resource departments work for companies, but FESA works for you. Contact FESA today at 512-687-6202 or log on to gofesa.com. That's gofesa.com.
We are back. It's Ask the Experts with Gary Knight and from FESA, Harlan Pickett. What's your number again? It's been said here many times, but people just tuning in, right?
Yes, sir. We are with FESA, Federal Employee Service Association. That is gofesa.com and 512-687-6202. And I want to point out one more time, Gary, we use the FESA name and we go with Federal Employee Service Association, but since 2017, FESA has also helped the private industry. That is why we are so knowledgeable about all things across both federal and non-federal, the network of folks out there. We just have people we help all the way across the board, and we're here truly to just share that knowledge and make sure everyone has the best situation possible for both today and tomorrow, to make sure they retire in style and that they have the most money they can put in their pocket today too, Gary.
Money is the big thing. It helps.
Yes, sir.
Helps a lot. Okay, here's another question for you. I'm considering a dental plan and a dental discount plan. Now, what are the pros and cons of each?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because one of the things that I'm not always a huge fan of is dental plans, and the main reason for that is because of waiting periods. A lot of times people start looking for a dental plan because they have a problem, Gary.
Yeah.
I know I need a root canal. I've got some pain, and I need to get a dental plan. I can't tell you how many times I've got that call. And it may be somebody I talked to before and they didn't want dental. And now all of a sudden they got a problem and they want it now.
Yeah.
Well, most of your individual dental plans are going to have some type of waiting period. And that means if you need that root canal, you may have to wait 12 months before you get it. Well, that plan ain't going to do you no good, because if you need a root canal, you need it now, not 12 months from now.
Exactly.
Now, even the ones that do provide coverage right away are going to have a smaller percentage they cover, 10, 20% maybe. While you will get a network discount for that, that's not always the best way to go. Group plans don't work the same way. If you have group dental, most of the time there is no waiting period, and they can have much higher amount of things that are covered.
Okay.
But a discount plan, what is really good about those, now, first of all, it's not insurance, and you have to make sure your dentist is going to take that discount plan.
All right.
But if they do, you're going to know what you're going to pay before you walk in the door, Gary.
That's good to hear.
That's right, because you've got a list of all the costs for all of the services that dentist could provide. And a discount plan, that's what it really does, is it has a set price. Let's just use, for instance, you were quoted that your root canal is going to cost you $1,400.
Okay.
Well, now you have a discount plan, and you can look on that list and say, okay, my doctor accepts this. Oh, look, that same root canal is going to be $480.
Well, up front, you're getting
and
this.
you know what it is. That's exactly right. When you walk in the door, you pay $480, and you're done. You already have the price. You don't have to get a quote from them. There it is. It's the cost.
I just saved $1,000.
You just saved $1,000. That's right. And what happens is a discount plan a lot of times can be $10. It's $10 a month, $10, maybe $15 a month for that discount plan. Where if you got a dental plan that was going to cover that root canal, it may be $50 a month for that.
I agree.
And so you're really paying for that root canal in another way because of the monthly payment. You're just paying it per month instead of paying it in the one time. They get you coming and going, in other words.
Yeah.
Now, the other side of that is many dentists will also, just like doctors, work out a deal with you for cash. So you might get that discount plan by you being your own advocate and going and asking, well, what can you really do it for? There's a lot of different things you can do there. Yeah, a lot of ebb and flow there. Yeah. And while I do like discount plans, and in some cases a dental plan, I really think it goes to the family themselves. Are you going to use it? If a family is going to go and get everyone in that family, or if even it's individual, is going to get their 2 cleanings a year, and going to take care of their teeth and use that insurance for that, then a dental plan can be worth it. If you tell me, I'm going to buy this dental plan so I will start doing those things, you're not going to do it. It's not going to change your behavior by getting a dental plan. You're just going to be spending money that you shouldn't spend. If you look and if you don't have a dentist, I wouldn't worry too much about paying too much to get the cleanings, because we all get those postcards in the mail, right? $19 to go and get your full cleanings and all that. Yeah, just go to that dentist and have it done, and 6 months from now, you'll have another coupon to go to another dentist and get the next time done, too.
Well, yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Okay, we're talking about plans. Okay, here's an ACA plan.
Okay.
I could get an ACA plan, but I really don't want to deal with the marketplace. What does ACA mean?
Affordable Care Act. Yeah, Obamacare.
That's right. Back in 2019, they go on to say, when I dealt with them, it was a complete mess. What else can I do? Yeah.
That's a good question, and the reason that people have so much frustration is in dealing with the marketplace is because of all the follow-up information that they want a lot of times. And if you don't provide that in the manner that they want it, then they're going to just not cancel your plan, but you're going to lose your tax credit. And now all of a sudden your plan went from $50 a month to $500 a month.
Ooh.
And you're right. And what do? You just don't pay for it. And there can be so much confusion there because you send something in, and depending on how you submitted that, whether you submitted it online or whether you mailed it in, it may or may not ever even get onto your account. They may want additional things, but there's no way for you to know whether they got the first thing, and you're sending the same thing over, and they don't like that, and so they just keep kicking it back, and all of a sudden you just throw your hands up and say, fine. But if that's the case, if you're tired of being on the ACA, you're not looking to take advantage of those tax credits, we can certainly help you with one of our sister company, Eagle Care Health Solutions. Very unique plans that utilize both direct primary care and also health shares. There are short-term plans that provide very good quality plans out there. One of the things that I would like to make sure that a short-term plan does is that it ends during an open enrollment period. And while we are in an open enrollment period almost the whole year this time, we couldn't have counted on that. And we certainly can't count on that for next year. And when you look at that, if someone were to get a short-term plan right now, I would not recommend that it goes beyond the end of this year, because we are going to have an open enrollment period in the standard time, which is, of course, going to be November 1st all the way through December 15th. And during that time, if something has happened, that you have been diagnosed with something, you've had an accident, if you're on a short-term plan, they are not going to take you on that short-term plan for the next term. And so if your plan was to end, say, a year from now, because you got on a 12-month plan, Now, at the end of next April, when you're not in open enrollment, your plan would end and you would have no coverage to take care of whatever you were being treated for
Ooh,
because you're out of open enrollment and you can't get on an ACA plan at that time.
that's scary.
That's exactly right. It's scary. And a lot of folks don't look at that because they say, well, I lost my plan, so they're going to take me. It is not considered qualified coverage. A short-term plan, since it's not qualified coverage, does not give you a special enrollment period to get an ACA or an Obamacare plan.
Okay.
That's why I want to make sure that if you have one and we help you out with it, that it's going to end during that time that you can make sure that you are eligible. Such,
All right.
if I were to enroll you, say, Gary, on a short-term plan, I would make sure it ended at the end of December so that during open enrollment we could look at what your options were, and if you had been diagnosed with something or were fighting some type of accident situation, needed rehab and such, we could get you on a traditional plan for a January 1 start date.
Well, very good. My health. Now we have a couple of minutes left.
Okay.
We got, and this might fit because we got a couple of questions left. My health insurance plan has a deductible and a maximum out of pocket. What does that really mean?
Okay, that's a great question because a lot of folks get confused on this. If you have a traditional plan, you're going to have a deductible, and maybe you won't. Maybe you have a zero deductible plan. But anytime you're spending towards your deductible, you're also going towards your maximum out of pocket. On most of your ACA plans, you're going to have an $8,550 max out of pocket, and let's just say you have a $5,000 deductible.
Okay.
Well, once you've met that $5,000 deductible, then your plan's going to go, for instance, 70-30, 80-20, until you've spent the rest of that, in this case, another $3,550 out of pocket. And once you've reached a maximum with your deductible and the other at 80-20, then the company pays 100%. Now, here's where that doesn't happen, Gary, is if you are on one of the short-term plans we were talking about a minute ago, and a few other types also, they have two separate ones. You have a $5,000, say, deductible, and then once you've reached that, you may have another $5,000 max out of pocket. They do not cover one or the other. There's even short-term plans, Gary, that have a $10,000 deductible and then another $10,000 max out of pocket. So you could be out $20,000 before the plan covers 100%. Now, if you're good with that, if you want that kind of catastrophic plan, that's fine. You just need to understand up front what those two are and that they work differently than a traditional plan.
You said catastrophic. That's a good word for it.
That's yes,
My
sir.
heart just stopped. We're running out of time. Anything you want to, for the takeaway, I should say, for the audience today?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just remind everybody about the Health and Wealth Power Hour. That is going to be every Thursday, Gary,
Yes.
from 1 to 2 p.m.
4 days from now.
Yes, sir. That's right. Right here on KSEV 700 and KSEVradio.com. That, of course, is sponsored by Eagle Care Health Solutions. You can reach them at eaglecarehealth.com and 512-559-4358. And, of course, the mothership, FESA, Federal Employee Service Association. Go FESA.com, 512-687-6202.
One more time, Health and Wealth Power, and a special guest. I can't get it out of him, folks. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Super surprise. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you, Harlan, for everything. Well, this time went quick as usual. And if they want some more answers, the questions that they have of their own, contact FESA today, 512-687-6202, or go FESA.com.
That's it.
Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
Yes, sir.
Ask the Experts with Gary Knight here on AM 700 KSEV.
Thanks again for tuning in for another Ask the Expert show right here on AM 700 KSEV.